Sherry told me after 4 girls that this would happen to me. This is the second hammer I found out in the yard. And she was always giving the girls, well, and telling me basically that the girls was taking her stuff, her makeup and her hair stuff and all that, you know. It's quite interesting. Payback.
Today's project is kind of it was a fun one to put together. In my former career, I was an industrial arts teacher, industrial technology teacher, and I did a lot of projects. And these are the types of things that it was fun to try again and to get back into that groove and explain how things are done. So come along with us. Not going to tell you all the practices or the best way to do things or everything I did was correct or any of that stuff. But come along and join us. And if you got questions or comments, so go ahead and leave them out there. Sherry and I want to help the next people, and that's one of our goals. So take 5. It'll only take a minute. You sit down and watch the video. And thanks for watching.
So here's today's project. We need something to kind of be a focal point of the flower farm, and Sherry and I have discussed it. We're going to give this a whirl, so hope you enjoy. Getting ready to try to build something like this over at the flower patch, as Sherry has coined the new phrase there. Simple gate for to enter into the flower patch. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this. It may turn out wrong, but I'm going to use the telephone poles that just come out and go up here somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 foot, 3 foot below ground. So a 10-foot section of those poles, and then cross it with another part of the pole like such, roughly. Then I've got some decking that is composite decking that we took off, and I'm going to try to build these gates somewhat in that fashion. We'll see. To go there. I'm in the New Holland 8870, and I need to get a telephone pole or 2. I'm going to pull one here and see what they've grown up. We got them, we put new lines, or we didn't, co-op, put new electric poles up 7, 8 years ago. I've had these telephone poles, thinking I would build a small pole building. Never have got to it, but I think we can repurpose these for the flower patch. So I got 3 or 4 in there. Let's just see what we can come up with. Now I learned this several years ago pulling tree logs. Actually, it's been several years, but if you will wrap your chain and tie it back to itself, here if I can show with one hand. Get enough of it in here. So I've gone around my chain, and now I'm going to hook one hand. I'm going to hook in here like so. What happens is they're supposed to happen. Now we'll see. I don't got a lot of chain. What's supposed to happen is as that tightens, the hook will tighten, and because of the loop it'll pull and it'll just catch and go. I'm not looking for this to work, but it normally does. I got a short chain. What I'm saying is I'm going to try. We'll see. Well, looky there. It did catch, but you can kind of see how it kind of grabbed think we're going to use this one. I think that one will work all sufficient for us. It'll stay hooked. I need to step it off and see if I've got enough in one pole. But anyways, there you have it. So it stayed hooked. Here's something else that's a little different. I'm going to step this off. And for me, my pace is every left foot is 5 foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 7, so about 35 feet is what my pace would be. I think we can make this, I think it'll look all right. It's not gonna, you know, this one is gonna be a little wider than the next section. But so I need, basically I need 7 foot above ground, 3 foot below ground. So 10 foot, 20 foot, and then 15 foot. So I think she's gonna work. My question is, how long should I cut this? So I got roughly 15 foot left. This would be the top part of that diagram. So I'm going to go back inside and we're going to kind of look at the measurements and make sure before we go any further. It's always easier to take a minute to get it roughly right because I can't add back on once I cut. I can't add it on. And so we're going to go with 12 foot, I think. That's plenty. And if I want to cut a little more off, I can when I get there, but I don't want to take the 15 foot because of the way I've got to haul it on the trailer, which is not particularly the best, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of limp over there to the place. I got to collect all the tools, so it's going to take me a good while to do that, but I'm going to head over there and we're going to see what happens. So very quickly, the gates themselves are 7 foot. Added 3 inches of give. Okay, so 7'3". Each pole is approximately 10 inches, give or take. And so that comes to a rough, very rough 9 foot. So if I wanted a foot over here, and I wanted a foot of overhang over here, so we're looking at around 11 foot. So if I make it 11, and I may make it 12, that's 1.5 feet. Okay, zoomed out here a little so that we can see what I'm doing. So these are cut off fence panels, composite fence panels, and I am repurposing. And I'm actually repurposing the screws because I thought these were 5 1/4 deck boards, but actually they're not. They're more like 1 inch. And so I bought too long of screw. So the screws actually come out pretty good and they're in super shape. So I'm going to reuse them, then I'm going to put a carriage bolt in there and lock that down and then zip off the backs. So the angle brace here, as you can see, is to kind of help secure that. It's a little overkill, I realize that, but that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do, and for now. And then we will hang this in a couple places on each side with a regular gate hinge. I'm not going to go with a barn door hinge. It's just a regular gate hinge. You can pop it off, put it back on, do whatever you want to with that. So I got to get this accomplished here this afternoon. And then the next phase of that will be actually making the frame like we talked about on the board. And we're going to do that. I think we're going to stick to doing that with some telephone poles. I got some here actually, and I may go look those over and cut them here. But anyways, that's the goal, that's the plan, that's what we're gonna do. So right or wrong, and I've made some wrong cuts, not that I'm pointing those out, which is why I'm doing this one here again. So, to be continued. Now the reality is you can use an auger if you can get it to start. You can use, some people call them a jobber. And drive it down and squeeze, or no, pull apart and that works too. And a combination of that one always, because you can reach down to the bottom, and then a hand auger. Now, believe it or not, one fall I did like 50 hand augered posts 3 foot deep. But okay, so any one of those tools will work, just as a matter of time. Okay, so it's possible. A little hard to see. It's a beautiful evening. There's the sun setting. Gates laid out. I allowed a little bit in the center, 2 inches on that end, 2 inches on the other, and then I laid out the distance of the actual post on both ends. Now, the old earthquake is not running, and one of the disadvantages is to coming over here is I don't have a whole lot of tools to work on it, and it's been, in all fairness to the little bugger, which is a man killer, and I probably just need to go rent one for the skid steer and be done with it. But well, in general, what I'm getting at is I don't have the stuff to try to get it started, so I'm going to use the old-time jobbers, okay, and the hand auger over there, and to try to get it. So I don't know how much of this I'll get filmed. I don't even have any idea how much of this is going to get done. I'm going to work till I can't see, or I get real tired, which doesn't take long anymore. Okay, so if you're paying attention there, you saw that I was using a hand digger there at the end, a jobber, sometimes people call, and the old gas one, it'd give out on me, and I'd be quite honest, I might have give out on it as well. So went to the local rental place and J-Jet and got a post hole digger for $75, and shoot, boom, boom, I'm done. So if you think about the time it takes and the wear and tear on you, that was pretty cheap. Not sure exactly what happened on this piece of video, but I had to tinker with it to get it to work out. Put the posts in, and you do the you backfill the dirt and lifts, and you tamp. And I've got this old railroad pry bar. It's got a flat end on it, and I tamp down, and then you just keep adding dirt and tamp. That's the old fence post method. It is important that you get it packed. If you just fill the hole around the post, it's going to settle quite a bit, and then especially if you've got, like in this case, I got gates hanging on it, it's going to tip and start to lean really poorly. And so again, the best is several lifts, 2 or 3 inches. After a while you get wore out, but that's how we do it. I'm going to shoot for about a block height. Now I got to slide it over here. I got the parts from our local farm store, which is called Rule King. So I'm going to use this type of hinge. It's a regular gate hinge. And in this case, in this scenario, I'll just pull it off if need be, versus in a cattle lot, we would put the top one pointing down and the bottom one pointing up. But this way I can take it on and off as I see fit. So that's what I'm going to try to get set up here and do. So I think the first thing I'll do is I'm going to mount these on the back side, something like that on the back, and then I've got some carriage bolts and so on to do that. That's what I'm going to try. Okay, here we go. Run the battery down and it won't happen.
a horse so I can build one. Daddy, how'd you do out the horse inside? I'm sorry.
Now, we'll put this boulder through here like this.
Does that go on it? Hey, I want to try that.
I know, come here. Look here. You put a washer and a nut.
Where's the washer?
I'll show you. This is a washer. That is a nut.
Oh, I know.
And then you gotta start it, right? Okay, get another washer and another nut. Get a washer and nut.
Dad, I want to try doing that.
Just a minute, I'm gonna have you do this.
But I want to do it with a drill.
Huh?
I want to do it with a drill.
Well, I'll get you and I'll let you. But you gotta do one thing at a time. And the one thing you're gonna do now is you're going to washer and nut. Washer and nut.
This one?
Yes. Good job. Very good. Okay, so a lot of different things involved there. You do want to get those kind of in line, the hinges, get those in line, and up and down. You can take an end wrench and put over the pin, and you can spin them. That's a lot easier than using a pair of pliers. So I've got it leveled, leveled that way. We'll do the same thing, try to match the bottoms over here, hopefully. Cross my fingers, and then get the whole thing going. I hope. We'll see. Okay, so a couple things here that probably you'll notice that the center seam is pretty well even. However, on this one, it's a little wider at the top. Now, when I put this board across here, lay it across and get it all tidied up, that might hold them differently and I might have to readjust. But for now, I'm liking it. So we're going to use these big long lag screws to go through the top, and we'll come down. I'm going to pre-drill before we get up there. So that's what we're using, is a long lag screw. They make them several different kinds. This is the one our hardware store has, which is, our hardware store is awesome. Outdoor obsessions, and so I get that stuff up there. Well, what do you think? I think I could have turned that upward, but not bad. Not bad. What do you think? See if I can. How about that? If you. Hey, Sherry, I think we could take pictures right through that thing. Right off of that. I'm gonna put this on real quick, if I've got the bits to do it, and mount it right up here.
Like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Ask your questions so we can all learn together. Come and grow with us.